Man, I had the weirdest dream. Just woke up a little bit ago. I passed out on the couch like I always do, my feet up. And I start dreaming I'm in this house. Not my house, but I was in the backyard. It was like kind of similar setup, table, but behind, it was a different house, bigger house. And I'm sitting at the table and I look up and in a chair, Scott's sitting in a chair over there, just kind of chilling, smiling. And I feel a presence right beside me. And I look to my right and it's fucking Larry, but with no mustache or beard. He's in like kind of half camo-y, some kind of clothing, long pants, long sleeve. He's just kind of goofballing around like Larry sometimes did, you know. And I do it, and I'm like this, and I'm like, Larry. I said, what's up, man? He's like, what are you doing here? I was like, we're just hanging out. Like, you're dead. You died, and he cocked his head, like, what? Like, yeah, man, you died in a bike accident, bro. You're not supposed to be here. But then he's like, with like a confused look with his head cocked, kind of like a Rottweiler, you know? And then he just kind of starts to grin. He's like, like, don't worry about it. The next thing I know, Scott's walking up, and he's kind of smiling. And it feels like, and I stood up, and I'm talking to Larry. Saying, yeah, man, I'm going to miss you, bro. And he had like a, don't worry about it, it's going to be okay kind of vibe. And I'm giving him a hug. And then it feels like there's two other people there who I don't really know who they are, but it felt like I knew them. Didn't see faces. So I'm giving Larry a hug goodbye. And it feels like they're watching me hug air, like I'm crazy. And at that point, I had to leave and go do something. I don't know what. So I turned and said, so long to the boys. And I walk out of the house and I look back and it's not my house, it's a big house. And I thought I saw Scott's truck, but it was black. Instead of Scott drove a white truck, it was a black truck. The next thing I know, I'm like somewhere where I didn't know where I really was. I don't know what I had to go do. And I didn't have a vehicle. So I jumped on a free shuttle that took me to the mall. That looked familiar to malls I've lived near in the past. So then I started walking. And for some reason, looked over at a Taco Bell and wanted to stop at Taco Bell. So I was like, fuck it, I'll walk home. So I come walking up to the driveway of the house, and there's a bunch more vehicles there. I walk into the side on the backyard, and there's like tons of people in the backyard, Spanish people. Kids running around, dogs running around, people I didn't know. So I start walking in, and I was like, what the hell's going on? Where's Scott and Larry? I was looking for Ozzy. You know, start walking up to people, say, hey, have you seen Scott and Larry? Or you seen my dog? And they're all like ignoring me, like, get the hell away from me, you know? I look over in the distance, I thought I saw Scott reading a newspaper, sitting at a picnic table or something. And I glanced left, and then looked over here, and I thought I saw my cousin Jason barbecuing. Because he was like, you know, slender with the goatee, late 50s looking dude. So I was like, Jason, what are you doing here? And as I got closer, I realized it wasn't him. It was like a Spanish dude that looked like him. So then I started walking around saying, who the hell are all these people? There's dogs all over the place, but I can't find my dog. So I walk in the house, and I start getting hit with attitudes by these wannabe gang member type Spanish guys. I'm like, who are you? What are you doing in my house? And they're like, who are you? What are you doing in my house? Like that. I'm like, dude, where the fuck's my dog? It's like, where the fuck's my dog? Like that. He probably got out. We don't know. I was like, all right. start getting pissed. And I walk up to my master bedroom. I gotta get my gun because I'm about to call the cops on these people. Couldn't find my magazines for my gun. So I got my gun with no magazines. So I start walking throughout the house. I go up the second story and opening bedroom doors, and there's dogs in all the rooms. Like, people put their dogs in the room. So I let all the dogs out. Like, come on, puppies. You can go in the backyard. Still haven't found my dog. Then I end up in another room, and it's these three ugly Spanish chicks with their kids. And I'm like, have you seen my dog? Who are you? What are you doing here? And they're like, who are you? What are you doing here? It's really vivid. I was getting really pissed. And I stumble into another two Spanish dudes that are messing with the security system, joking. I'm like, dude, don't touch that. That's my shit. Don't touch that. That's my shit. What you gonna do? And then I started getting really pissed. And I say, where the fuck is my armory? Because I'm calling 5-0, but I want to make sure I'm armed because these guys are getting like really aggressive. And then I just woke up. So weird dream. I don't know what it means, but thought I'd record that before I forget it. I woke up really, it's one of those dreams like you just wake up and it's still, you're half in it. Not, for like a millisecond, I'm like, I need to call Scott to find out where my dog is. Because I'm thinking Larry is gone. I just say goodbye to him in the dream. But again, I'm like, Scott's still here. Then I'm like, shake it off and like, dude, this is fucked up. Dreams, what are you gonna do? In another section of the dream, my mom, I think, had my phone, and I looked over her shoulder. I don't know if it was her or somebody else. And there's a video playing, and it looked like my old support room at the firm I worked at in Miami. And in the video is Larry wearing a big, it was like a holiday party vibe. I recognized the room because I worked there for years doing support for law firm stuff. And Larry's wearing a big sombrero type hat, but it's shaped like a red and white parrot. And he's goofing around and dancing with the hat, you know. And I recognized the room because I worked there for years in Miami. But it couldn't have been Larry because he didn't work in Miami. So, what a weird dream, man. Remember, I was constantly searching for my magazines for my gun because all these, I don't know why Spanish people in the dream, with all the chaos and all the news about Somalians, you think it'd be filled with Somalians or something, but the brain does weird. I grew up in Miami, so I guess it makes sense. I just thought, that was a weird dream, man. Scott smiling from a distance and Larry dancing around like a goofball, like he didn't realize he was dead. Surreal shit. It felt good hugging Larry, saying goodbye. I remember that. I remember Scott at that point was standing close and he was kind of smiling too. And there was two other figures. I felt like I knew them. I was comfortable in their presence, but they didn't really have a face. Just, And then it felt like they're lost watching me hug air, thinking I was a nutball. As I'm saying goodbye to Larry, I said, I'm going to miss you, brother. And he had that, gives you a hug and stands back and looks at you going, it's going to be almost like, yeah, don't worry about it, it's fine, But I left. I don't know what it is I went to do. I left walking. I thought I drove somewhere, but I think I don't know. And I was holding a plastic bag. It might have been Taco Bell. I don't know. And I felt like I lived close to where the mall was that dropped me off, so I ended up walking. All of a sudden, I'm in the driveway of this big house. And then I started looking room to room for my magazines because there's all these Spanish people in my crib that are fucking with me. And there's dogs in the rooms. I let all the dogs out. Never did find Ozzy. Didn't think of Merlin in the dream. I was looking for Ozzy. That's weird, man. One of those surreal, vivid dreams that's like weird but also realistic, Just the brain doing what it does, I guess. Oh. And then when I woke up again, split second, I need to call Scott and find out where the fuck my dog is. It's like, what? And I went to the bathroom, splashed cold water in my face, brushed my teeth, and I was like, fucking, still pissed off about all these motherfuckers in my house. Then I made a coffee, and I'm like, all right, start the day. Crazy.